It had a beginning. And right away, people, scientists, didn't like that. All the way down through history, you find that people didn't like some of the things that were proposed. And so we developed this whole thing of a philosophy of how do you figure out philosophically which theory is correct. What were some of the alternatives? We'll talk about that theory a little later on, but the fact is, what were some of the theories that were proposed to counter what Einstein said?
Right. So in 1927, Lemaitre was able to synthesize the implications of Einstein's theory of general relativity, which most naturally implied a beginning, with the observational evidence. And that became known as the Big Bang theory. So Lemaitre is really the father of the Big Bang theory. But Sir Fred Hoyle, a great British astrophysicist, and two colleagues, Hermann Bondi and Thomas Gold, formulated an alternative theory known as the steady state. They were trying to preserve Einstein's original idea. And they said, yeah, it's true that the universe is expanding, or appears to be expanding, but they said that process could have been going on forever, infinitely into the past. And they proposed that, just as kind of an assumption, that space must have a constant density of matter in it. So as it's expanding now, then the density would go down because there'd be less matter per unit volume. And that stretching of space would cause new matter to pop into existence. So they proposed a kind of continuous creation of matter ad infinitum, infinitely forward into the future, and that process, they said, had been going on infinitely back into the past. So they attempted to get rid of the beginning, but by still accounting for the evidence of an expanding universe.
Yeah. I remember being in graduate school and hearing about that, and it seemed like the view that scientists were pushing very hard. And you want to knock that off now, or you want to wait till the next program?
Let's go for it. I actually had a chance to speak with Hermann Bondi, my first year as a student in Cambridge. He sat down crisscross applesauce in front of me in a pre-high table drinks thing, and started asking me questions about my research. And then I asked him about the steady state, and he said, well, it was a great idea. The only thing wrong with it, it was completely wrong. He said it didn't meet the evidence. So the steady state theory fell into disfavor among scientists by the mid-1960s. And since that time, most physicists and astronomers and cosmologists have accepted that the universe did indeed have a beginning. And Arno Penzias, interestingly, one of the scientists who discovered the cosmic background radiation and who later received a Nobel Prize for his role in that discovery, later said that the best data we have are exactly what I would have predicted if I had nothing to go on but the first 5 books of Moses, the Psalms, and the Bible as a whole. And of course, the first words of the Bible are in the beginning. So the theistic view of the origin of the universe is that it had a beginning. And I think that's very significant if we think back to that quotation we started our discussion with today from Richard Dawkins, because he says that the universe has exactly the properties we should expect if at bottom there's no purpose, no design, nothing but blind, pitiless indifference. In other words, the universe looks as it should if materialism were true. Scientific materialism is
it shoots his theory down.
But it does. What we have instead is what you'd expect on a theistic view.
That's right.
Not a materialistic or naturalistic view, which denies the beginning. The materialists, after all, have long said that, as Carl Sagan once said, the universe is all there is and all there was and all there ever will be. The universe is eternal and self-existent.